The crowd is almost the same size as it was for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's visit, but the message for Finance Minister Bill Morneau is just as loud and just as clear. Build that pipe. Now, Morneau won't be addressing the crowd out here on the street. Instead, Morneau will be inside speaking with the Calgary Chamber of Commerce. And while the setting is a little more subdued in here, there's no question that a lot of these people still have the same passion and anger as the people outside.
I think it would be pretty tone deaf if I went right into our fall economic statement without talking about some of the important issues that we need to talk about here today.
He was questioned about Trans Mountain.
The single most important thing we can do is have our best people focused on the Trans Mountain pipeline and the expansion in order to try and make sure that that gets done in the right way so we have a longer-term solution for the market access issue.
He was pressed on additional rail capacity.
We don't want to divert our resources to ideas that won't actually have an important impact.
But the answers seem to fall flat, with the chamber crowd seeming more interested in finding out what was going on back at the office than listening to Morneau explain his government's decisions. Even when asked specific questions about how the government has treated Alberta compared to Ontario, Morneau preferred to answer in general terms. Why has the government decided it's more important to bail out individual companies in Eastern Canada when there's an entire industry here in the West that, hasn't really asked for a bailout? It's asking for the regulatory conditions that will allow it to succeed.
I think it's important that the federal government is supportive of workers facing challenges here in Alberta. It's obviously something that we want to make sure that we're engaged in all parts of the country. I'm here recognizing the significant challenge facing the oil and gas sector here in Alberta and trying to make sure that we're considering ways that we can appropriately deal with the challenge.
What do you say to Albertans who feel abandoned, who are out of work and have been for years, and then they turn on the TV this week watching the government sort of leap into action here hours after the news out of Oshawa?
The challenge that was presented yesterday to workers in Oshawa is real. The challenge that workers have in Alberta is just as real, and the significance of the economic change here is something that we're paying very close attention to.
Despite the rosy economic picture painted for Canada as a whole in his fall economic update, Morneau refused to talk about the oil and gas crisis as a regional issue.
I want to acknowledge that this is not a Calgary challenge. The enormous differential, the issue around the discount that we have in selling our resources is a Canada problem.
What's yet to be seen is if a visit from two of Canada's most powerful politicians will lead to the change that these people want. In Calgary, Jonathan Muma, City News.